Hello everyone. In astrology, Uranus represents awakening, individuation, and radical change. In the previous video, we explored Uranus in the first 6 houses. In this video, we continue the journey and explore Uranus in the houses from the 7th through the 12th.
When Uranus is placed in the 7th house, the individual's approach to relationships, marriage, and partnerships becomes unconventional and independent from traditional patterns. With this placement, the person feels a strong need to liberate themselves from relationship structures that restrict individuality. However, before creating a relationship model that truly suits them, the individual must first explore how they experience love, sharing, and emotional connection within themselves. While many people remain in relationships due to security needs or a sense of duty, those with Uranus in the 7th house refuse to stay in lifeless or outdated relationship forms based solely on obligation. In astrology, the 7th house also represents qualities sought in a partner that remain underdeveloped within the self. With Uranus in this house, the themes of freedom, individuality, and difference that the person needs to integrate internally are often projected onto partners. If the individual has not learned how to cooperate, this placement may bring challenges in relationships, counseling matters, and legal affairs. Unpredictable or unusual behavior can disrupt agreements, and legal cases may end unexpectedly, sometimes resulting in losses.
A person with Uranus in the 8th house approaches shared resources, other people's money, joint values, crises, and themes of death in a way that is independent of conventional models. This placement reflects a strong desire for liberation and awakening through life's inevitable processes of transformation. Uranus, the planet associated with others, placed in the house of death and rebirth, describes a consciousness that may rebel against death on the surface, yet at a deeper level seeks to face it and ultimately free itself from the fear of death. In its shadow expression, the individual may feel unusually special, as if immune to endings or mortality. When sensing that something is approaching its end, they may abruptly withdraw rather than remain present through the process. In its constructive expression, however, the individual can perceive death and endings as entirely new fields of experience. Rather than avoiding what is ending, they may approach transformation with curiosity and even excitement, allowing the process to unfold consciously. Uranus in the 8th house pushes the person to liberate themselves from purely instinctual patterns. In matters of intimacy, sexuality, and deep sharing, they may seek alternatives beyond traditional or purely biological expressions. This placement can manifest as extremes, ranging from intense passion to emotional detachment. Fields such as astrology, psychology, alchemy, the occult, modern sciences often attract individuals with this placement. Uranus in the 8th house may also indicate sudden and unexpected developments related to a partner's resources, shared finances, inheritance, insurance, or taxes. These events may bring either sudden gains or unexpected losses, often arriving without warning. A person with Uranus in the 9th house approaches foreign cultures, belief systems, religion, philosophy, law, and higher education in a way that is independent of conventional models. Progressive ideals rooted in freedom, equality, and universal brotherhood become especially important. This placement often brings resistance to restrictive, dogmatic, and traditional belief systems. The individual's understanding of the universe, God, and divine laws can be highly original, unconventional, and deeply personal. They tend to move beyond classical frameworks, adopting a perspective that feels timeless and expansive, almost as if observing life on Earth from a higher cosmic vantage point. Such individuals may reject affiliation with traditional religious institutions, established philosophical doctrines, social norms, legal structures, or rigid social classes.
Their ideals and belief systems can sometimes become utopian, abstract, or difficult to implement in everyday life. In its shadow expression, the person may perceive themselves as standing above universal laws, believing they possess a special or superior understanding. There may be an inner rebellion against God, destiny, or the experiences imposed by the universe. As a result, sudden and unexpected conflicts can arise with religious authorities, academics, professors, judges, or legal systems. When the individual learns to liberate themselves from outdated frameworks in a healthy way, they can live according to their libertarian and egalitarian principles and share this vision with others. Uranus's drive for experience in the ninth house often manifests through foreign travel, exploration of different cultures, and exposure to diverse worldviews. Long-distance journeys may occur frequently or begin unexpectedly. A person with Uranus in the 10th house approaches career, public role, contribution to society, vocational calling, and authority figures in a way that is independent of conventional norms. This placement urges the individual to carve out a unique and unconventional path within society. Since the 4th and 10th house axis represents parental figures, Uranus here may reflect a parent who is unconventional, freedom-oriented, original, creative, revolutionary, unpredictable, eccentric, rebellious, emotionally distant, or perceived as unreliable. As a result, the individual may choose a career path that differs greatly from parental expectations and traditional definitions of success. With Uranus in the 10th house, there is a strong need to break free from outdated, rigid, and dysfunctional social structures. Through an unconventional profession or a uniquely defined life path, the individual may become a role model within society. Regardless of the chosen profession, this placement often brings innovation, originality, and the development of new techniques or systems. The person seeks a career where they can work according to their own rhythm and values. Freelance work, multiple career paths, or sudden shifts in professional direction are common. Careers may be marked by unexpected breakthroughs followed by abrupt changes. In some cases, the individual may initially conform to traditional structures in order to gain social recognition and authority. However, at a certain stage in life, their vocational path may change dramatically. Once their authentic calling becomes clear, they may feel compelled to dismantle existing frameworks and rebuild their career on their own terms. For this placement to manifest constructively, personal ambitions must be aligned not only with individuality and originality, but also with humanitarian and collective goals. Otherwise, creativity and innovation risk becoming cold, disconnected, or reduced to fleeting trends, empty eccentricities, or leadership styles that leave no lasting impact. A person with Uranus in the 11th house approaches social groups, friendships, teamwork, organizations, and collective structures in a way that is independent of conventional patterns. This house reveals how the individual expresses their uniqueness, individuality, and freedom within collective environments. With this placement, the person is required to express themselves within groups not as a conforming member, but as an independent individual. In its shadow expression, the individual may be seen as someone who draws attention through nonconformity, rebels against prevailing group ideas, never fully belongs, or feels fundamentally different and special compared to others. Under Uranian influence, the person may seek freedom from traditional friendships and social circles formed merely to avoid loneliness. They often reject social rituals, formal expectations, and prescribed roles within friendships. A strong desire to remain autonomous and self-directed is present. Despite this, the individual longs to form free, equal, and authentic connections with like-minded people who share similar ideals and future-oriented goals. Teamwork is welcomed, as long as it respects individuality and avoids rigid hierarchies. With Uranus in the 11th house, personal goals and future aspirations are often tied to humanitarian causes and collective progress. Values such as equality, freedom, and fraternity become central. The person may be involved in organizations focused on social issues, scientific research groups, professional associations, or non-governmental organizations. In challenging expressions, emotional distance from friends, withdrawal from groups, or frequently changing social circles may occur. Friends in the person's life may be unpredictable, unreliable, struggling with attachment issues, overly dependent, or unable to fully express their own freedom. Through these dynamics, the individual learns how to balance personal freedom with collective belonging.
A person with Uranus in the 12th house experiences themes of liberation, individuality, and self-expression through isolation, hospitals, prisons, hidden struggles, and circumstances beyond personal control. This placement indicates that Uranian qualities, independence, freedom, change, originality, and uniqueness are often suppressed within the unconscious mind. There may be a deep-seated fear, such as, if I reveal how different and unconventional I truly am, people will think I'm crazy. As a result, the Uranian need for individuality remains buried for long periods. When this energy is not gradually and consciously integrated into daily life, it may erupt suddenly in disruptive or destructive ways. Because the individual does not fully listen to their authentic inner voice, their inner world may feel constantly turbulent. This can manifest as doing the opposite of what is needed, rebelling against everything, or engaging in unexplained acts of resistance. Outwardly, the person may appear traditional, calm, or compliant, while internally experiencing continuous tension and inner conflict. Uranus in the 12th house enhances intuitive abilities, unconscious awareness, and spiritual sensitivity. However, rebellious tendencies may attract hidden enemies or opposition. Careless or impulsive actions can lead to dangerous situations, and there may be vulnerability to misfortunes connected to uncontrollable external events, including natural disasters. Engagement in humanitarian or charitable work can provide a constructive outlet for inner unrest and disappointment. When Uranus is under strong tension, illusions, confusion, and beliefs of being exceptionally special or chosen can lead to serious psychological difficulties. Therefore, learning to express individuality consciously and healthily rather than suppressing it is essential for balance and well-being.
In this video, we've completed the exploration of Uranus through the houses. If you're interested in astrology approached through structure, depth, and meaningful interpretation, consider subscribing to the channel. You can share in the comments which house your Uranus is in and how you experience its influence in your life. Thank you for watching.